Welcome to Mainland, your local regional television station. I'm Graham O'Brien, and some of the stories coming up in today's news. Nelson gets the royal nod in November, documentary makers flying visit to Nelson, and Dam gets a tick from Primary Industries. It's official, Nelson is on the Royal New Zealand tour list of places that Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall are coming to pay a visit to in November. John Key released details of their visit destinations this week, which includes Wellington, Dunedin, Westport, Ngaruawahia, New Plymouth and Auckland from November the 4th through to the 10th. The Royals will be here for one day only on Saturday, November the 7th, and will visit the Nelson Market and attend a food and wine event together. The couple will then head off in different directions, with the Prince of Wales visiting the Cawthron Institute and Camilla visiting the Whale Museum in Quarantine Road. The Prince of Wales will later be travelling on to Westport to participate in the Defence Forces exercise Southern Katipo, leaving the Duchess of Cornwall to return to Wellington to visit the Wellington SPCA. Don't forget, tomorrow is D-Day for Shakeout, the civil defence event that anyone anywhere can be involved with. All you have to do is to be part of this nationwide event is to do your earthquake drill at 9:15 a.m. Thursday morning, along with 24,000 other local Nelson Tasman people who will all be dropping, covering and holding to practice for a possible real-life event. Smart meters in Motueka are coming, according to one concerned Motueka citizen who said that a letter from Contact Energy informed him that Contact wanted to install a smart meter on his house. This man had no idea how to prevent a smart meter from being put on his house and was not happy about being told that it was going to be installed. On further investigation by Mainland News, Contact spokesperson Kapua Smith told Mainland News that Contact is one of the few electricity retailers that does not require its customers to have a smart meter installed, and that these meters are optional. The spokesperson could not say whether that was made clear in the company's correspondence to its customers. We went out and asked people their thoughts on smart meter use.
It doesn't really concern me, smart meters. Yeah. What do you call smart meters?
The ones that are sending and receiving Wi-Fi, people are a bit worried about they send out...
Yeah, that is a bit concerning, yeah, but I don't use them. I'm not a computer geek, so...
The
computers I had was in East Dry tractors, so...
the smart meters, they put them on for your power, and they're coming around saying that, oh, we want to put them on, but you can actually say, no, I don't want one. What do you reckon? Would you have one if you're given the choice?
Yeah, thinking about that, probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. It does make it easier to get the power checked and everything, doesn't it? But it's, yeah. No, it's, yeah.
Smart meter for your power?
Yeah.
Means nothing to me. I generate my own power with panels. I export it.
Oh, fantastic. Are you worried about, are you concerned, a lot of people are concerned about the radiation that comes from them through the Wi-Fi? There's a lot of research overseas. Do you know anything about that as soon as you are generating your own power?
No, but I think everything is on Wi-Fi generates a bit of signal around the place, like microwaves and that, so just don't strap it near your head. I think you'll probably be all right.
Like your cell phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just from what I've been told and read and that, I don't want them. But that's my point of view. That's it. Health-wise, that's we've got enough microwaves floating around the place without them here too. So.
It's not just your opinion, sir. There's a lot of people who share that opinion.
It could be, yes, it could be.
No, we don't. I keep hearing about it, and I don't know if they would come out. I would probably do some more research about it. Yeah. We have children, and yeah.
Sure.
Yes, but the trouble with smart meters is that the cell phone coverage isn't good enough, so they can't be smart. They still have to come and read them.
Oh, no thanks. I'd rather, have a bill. Not prepay or anything as you go. It's just like these phones, you shouldn't topping them up. Better on a plan than,
No, because I haven't heard a lot about them. The only things I have heard about them is people that aren't happy with them. So, no, not sure about that. Yeah. We haven't got one, but I suppose it might come eventually.
That's probably a good idea. I don't know. It probably depends on how many will be used and whether we really need them.
Tasman District's Dry Weather Task Force has met and decided to hold off on introducing water rationing for now, but will review its decision next week. It is likely that restrictions may have to be imposed on some catchments depending on river flow and aquifer levels in a fortnight's time if there has been no or little rainfall. The task force met last week, which is the earliest it has ever been called together, to assess the district's water levels and determine whether rationing is required. Overall, the river flows and aquifer levels are declining and it's drier in the eastern catchments of the district. Also, there has not been much rain since the onset of spring in September. And with drying winds and increasing water demand, with the irrigation season starting 3 weeks earlier, causing further declines in river flows and aquifer levels. Tasman District Council Environment and Planning Manager Dennis Bush-King says the Mutri, Waimea, Waiti and Mochipico catchments are looking very dry, and the task force will be meeting regularly to keep a close eye on the aquifer and river levels. And while on the topic of water supply, last week the Office of Primary Industries Minister Nathan Guy released a statement which showed strong support in their report on weather management on the Waimea Plains, reaffirming the benefits of the solutions currently being worked through by the Tasman District Council and irrigators. The report also supports the changes to the water management rules as a means of providing water security and creating greater productivity and economic return. This independent report shows the value of what is currently proposed, adds to previous work showing the benefits of water augmentation in the Waimea system, according to Deputy Mayor Tim King, who has said the issues of over-allocation and impacts of dry weather have been at the heart of the water security issues faced as a district, and were the reasons TDC set up the Waimea Water Augmentation Committee. He said that the Waimea Plains is a relatively small capacity for water storage that is very sensitive to changes in weather and its use, yet it supports so much of what drives the region. Storage will provide the water security needed to support both current water and future usage that is likely to occur. We asked people who could be paying for this proposed dam their thoughts.
Well, once they get the model right, it'll be great. Everyone needs water. It's going to be the big commodity. We're going to get too much seawater, they tell us, with all this climate change stuff, but we need a lot of fresh water to keep ourselves alive. So there's got to be a model to do it. So we're going to need it. How we get it is the question.
And who pays for it?
I'll pay for it. I'm good like that.
Oh, the new dam is a total disaster. They don't need a new dam at all. There's Mr. Seyfried sitting there with a huge reservoir, and it's never full. He only fills it to a third, so if there was a shortage of water, it would be full all the time, wouldn't it? We don't need more water.
Well, I think we're going to need it. Either that or put a pipe in the lake. Yeah. That's about all I can say.
Well, that's right. If you keep growing, you have to keep needing more resources, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I should have done the lake years ago, from what I can gather.
Yeah. It seems like a good option.
Well, if it's needed, well, I suppose so. I suppose they require it. Yeah.
It's predicted to cost $70 million so far.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, well, see, those are the things that you don't know, eh? You know, oh my goodness, it could be used somewhere else, but we do have a flooding problem here.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not a farmer, and I'm not against the dam, but it's just going to cost an awful lot of money, but I suppose it's something we need.
Yeah, they're up to 70 million now.
Cheapers, are they? That's a hang of a lot of money.
I didn't know that was happening either. I don't watch a lot of news, actually, to be honest. I suppose, you know, as long as it doesn't affect the local community negatively, then it's up to them, really, isn't it?
It's projected at the moment to be $70 million.
Oh my goodness! Is it really that necessary? Yeah, I suppose, if they're spending a lot of money on it, that's not so good, is it?
Trout poachers' illegal use of gill nets has been in the national news recently. I caught up with Fish and Game Officer Lawson Davey to find out if the top of the south has the same kind of issues.
Lawson, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. We hear that up in Taupo they had a bit of trouble with poaching and gill netting. Is it a problem down here for us in the top of the south?
Fortunately, not as such of an issue, basically because we don't have large numbers of fish in our small pools like they do get in the North Island. But we do have some issues, particularly in the estuaries, in the Lower Motueka and the Wairau. and also to probably a lesser extent in the Clarence, where probably the biggest one is where people are targeting either salmon or kawai, and they end up catching trout or salmon. And the way the rules are at the moment is there's basically no restrictions on netting in a river mouth, which is of concern to Fish and Game nationally, because provided you let the fish go immediately, you aren't breaking any rules. But our concern is that the research tells us that trout and salmon are very susceptible to high mortalities after they've been netted, and it comes down to the soak time, or the amount of time that they're caught, the net's in the water and the fish are caught in it. But basically you can end up, some research said after 140 minutes, I think it is, you're looking about 60% mortality. So basically a couple of hours and you've got pretty high mortality. Reality is there's currently no limit on soak time, so you could set the thing overnight, and reality is basically all the trout you catch are probably going to be dead in the morning, and that's not particularly helpful to any licence holder who's trying to go out and catch some salmon or some trout.
What would the set netters, because I mean it's legal, so what can the set netters do to stop catching the trout and salmon?
Yeah, well, certainly what we'd like to see some changes, but there are a number of things that can be done. One is trout and salmon tend to be caught more overnight, so we'd prefer people don't set their nets overnight and set them during the day, because you're just as likely to catch flounder and kawai during the day. That would reduce some of the bycatch. Also, if you're targeting salmon, flounder, is to bag the net, and so you're basically just fishing the bottom 300 mils or so. You'll still successfully catch flounder, but you won't catch the trout. If you set the net up and down the flow rather than across it, and limit the soak time, certainly if it can be limited under an hour, is a lot preferable than setting it overnight or for several hours, because if you do catch a fish, chances are that you may be able to let it go and it will survive if it's a short soak time.
Sure, thanks. And with the summer coming up, what are some general rules that people need to know about if they're going to go out for trout?
You're required to have a licence and make sure you carry it with you. But certainly the reports we've had so far is there's some pretty good fishing to be had. Now's probably the time to get out there and make the most of it, because things are shaping up. It could be a pretty long summer, so conditions are really good now, but give it a couple of months' time, it might be a bit tough going.
Listen, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
New Zealand documentary maker and political commentator Brian Bruce was in Nelson last weekend to give a talk due to demand, and one of many nationwide talks. And Mainland's Chrissy Small caught up with him at the Nelson Marlborough Institute of Technology.
Can you tell us a bit about what brings you here?
Well, they asked me to do the Quaker lecture this year, which is the Quakers do a lecture each year to do with social justice or some social issue, and they chose me this year. And I'm talking about what neoliberalism has done to our economy and to us as a people.
Right, now, I've read a wee bit about this. You're kind of pointing the finger at the Longi government and Roger Douglas's policies as the beginning of this episode?
Yeah, we've had 30 years of neoliberal governments which broadly believe that if a few people are able to get rich, that this will trickle down magically to all of us, that we'll all benefit from it. It doesn't work. It hasn't worked. We've now got a situation where 52% of the wealth of this country is owned by 10% of the people in it. And the bottom 20% own nothing of real value at all. We don't have a fair and egalitarian society anymore. We have schools that are like apartheid schools. Decile 1 and 2 kids will get through high school, and only 58% of them will get NCA level 2. But if they go to a level 9, a decile 9 and 10 school, 87% of them will get through. So there's a 30% difference at NCA level 2 between rich and poor schools. That's not fair. That's not right. That's not the New Zealand I grew up in.
No. So you're saying there should be a change now. We need to move away from neoliberalism.
We do. It's a difficult word, and it's going to be a difficult process. This isn't going to be but people are catching up to the idea that this isn't working. Yeah. We have working poor. We have people who work all week and cannot make ends meet. It's not because they're bad budgeters or anything like that. They simply don't have enough money. On a 0-hour contract, on minimum wage, they're finding it really difficult just to make ends meet, to pay the rent and the electricity and even the transport to get to your terrible job. Yeah. There isn't enough money. So what you cut back on is food.
We're seeing the rich in this country actually building huge, big homes while the poor are struggling to even keep a roof over their heads. Can the government be doing more rather than less?
Well, it's my view that if you go throughout the country and you, just as I do, and you look at the condition of our homes, a lot of our homes aren't fit for purpose anymore. They were built 120, 140 years ago. And we could actually improve our economy by rebuilding our homes. But this has to be government-led. My parents came to this country penniless. And within 5 years, my working-class mum and dad were able to build a brand new home in Spraydon, in Christchurch. How could they do that? Because the government at the time allowed them to capitalise the family benefit on me to age 18. They had to save a deposit, I think it was a couple of £1,000, and then the government lent them the rest of the money at 3% for 40 years. So that meant that builders could be engaged to build houses. Now, if you think how many people are involved in the building of a house, there's the people who do the foundations, there's the carpenters, there's the bricklayers, there's the plumbers, there's the roofers, all of those people, the decorators, and they're all got families. That's how we build our economy, but we also improve our health of our children by warm places to live. I have difficulty with this left and right thing. This just seems to me to be common sense.
Okay, so you're down here, you're talking about that increasing gap growing. What about the TPP?
What about the TPP? I think that the TPP is being sold as that, this is, if we increase our exports, this is going to be good for all of us. This is a version of trickle-down theory. If the exporters get rich, then this is going to trickle down to the poor. We're all going to be better off for this wonderful thing. Two things about that. Theo Spearling, CEO of Fonterra, generously decided to freeze his salary at $4 million this year. And I don't think I think he's going to still get his bonuses. 700 jobs in the same week were cut from Fonterra. You make money as an exporter, but you cut jobs. So it doesn't work that it trickles down. And those are the kind of issues that we need to face up to. This is a myth, this neoliberalism.
It seems to be full of contradictions.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so your journey, what we know, what we say and what we do. How far around the country are you going with this?
Well, Chrissy, I thought that I was doing this once, and it's grown, and I don't know quite why it's growing. It has something, I think, to do with what Jeremy Corbyn getting elected to the British Labour Party, Bernie Saunders gathering large crowds because he's talking about socialism. Last night, at the Transitional Cathedral in Christchurch, there were over 450 people there. It was full. What's happening is that we were talking about the working poor not being able to make ends meet. The middle class, I think, are becoming the struggling class. They work often 2 salaries to just make ends meet, to just pay for things. There is no space for savings anymore. So people are beginning to realise there is something fundamentally wrong with this. And other people, particularly young people I'm noticing, are sick to death of the me society. And they're seeing value in the we society, that we actually might all get better off if we cooperate and we don't compete with each other to the point where it is really unhealthy for us to compete.
Brian, do you think people are getting a bit worried about the future for their kids? I mean, the way things are going, it's not getting any better. It seems to be getting harder. Is that one of the biggest movements you're seeing with those people that are concerned for their children and their grandchildren?
Yes, I do think people are concerned about those sorts of things. We all worry about our kids. Most parents want the best for their kids. And so I'm currently working on a documentary about education because our future is in our children. What are we doing? How are we teaching our children? And one of the things we have to look at for a future economy is how is it going to be different from what we've got at the moment? Well, we know that we're going to still be making food. That's one of the things we're going to be making. But we're going to be making it with less people. Less people will actually be involved in the production of milk and milk powder, and there are going to be bigger farms, and there'll be machinery doing stuff that humans don't do. So how is our economy going to grow? Well, one of the ways it can grow is to realise that we're now in the creative age. We're in the creative economy. Look at what you and I are doing. We're making our living by telling stories. Other people are fixing our houses and fixing my car because I'm useless at that, So we're in the creative economy, and we've got to come up with smarter ways to do things. We've got to be cleverer than than China. China can make the cell phones. We need to come up with the applications. And so how do you do that? How do you create a creative economy? Well, you nurture creativity in schools. And how do you do that? Well, you don't do it by authoritarian teaching. Do as I tell you, and there's only one answer to all of this, and giving tests that try to make sure that every child is the same rather than fostering the difference in every child, the talent and ability of every child. I don't know, I'm sure that Lord did wonderfully at school and NCA and all of that, but in the end it didn't matter a damn, she won a Grammy. That's right. It's about what is your talent, what is your passion, and what parents can do is to foster the talent and the passion in their children as best they can, because that is their security of the future. And one of the things the best thing that parents can do and teachers can do is to foster the joy of learning, because we are in the business of lifelong learning now. It's not going to be like I go and pass this exam and then my future is secure. You're going to be changing. You've got to be adaptable. You've got to have a mentality that goes, well, okay, that's gone, that job's gone, but I can do this. I can teach myself to do that. So we need to teach children to have the passion to learn. And that's the core of it.
On Tuesday, Nelson Police investigating a serious assault arrested 2 people. Police were notified by staff at Nelson Hospital last Friday when the victim presented for treatment to several cuts to his head and body. Following a search of Richmond House on Tuesday, a 35-year-old Richmond woman has been charged in relation to a number of items found at the house, including methamphetamine, drug utensils and a firearm. She will appear in Nelson District Court on Monday the 19th of October. A 33-year-old Richmond man has been charged with wounding with intent to cause grievous bodily harm and unlawful possession of a firearm. He has been held in custody to appear in court on Wednesday the 14th of October. Inquiries to identify a second male involved in the assault are ongoing. After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.
Why would you want to pay as much as $1,000 for a single bed mattress when you can buy a high quality locally made mattress like this for as little as $220? And a queen size mattress could cost you in excess of $3,000, but at Nelson Beds you could have a mattress like this as low as $425. So why would you go out and spend a fortune on your child's bedroom when you can come to Nelson Beds and buy a complete single mattress and base set, a 7-drawer Scotch chest, a headboard and a 3-drawer bedside cabinet for as little as $979? So call and discuss our custom manufacturing options and local after-sales service at Nelson Beds, Nelson's only bedding manufacturer.
Nelson Tire Center, great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer, all types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.
I'm Francis from Nelson Auto Glass. We repair all auto glass, stone chips, windscreen replacements, scratch removal.
If you have an auto glass issue, our team will sort it.
Nelson Auto Glass Specialist, 84 Vanguard Street, Nelson.
Edward Gibbon, the bathroom specialist, have a great range of bathroom ideas at their showroom at 23 McGlashan Ave in Richmond. Call in and check out some of the latest bathroom designs and fittings. Edward Gibbon, the bathroom plumbing and drainage supply specialist, 23 McGlashan Ave, Richmond.
A quiz night and silent auction fundraiser for Nelson South Kindergarten is on Friday the 30th of October from 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. at Victory Community Centre. Organise a team of 8 for a fun night out. The whānau group is raising money towards the continued development of the kindergarten's outdoor learning environment. Nelson Live Poets presents the Nelson Arts Festival Poetry Slam Heats on Monday the 19th of October. Starts at 6:45 p.m. at the Free House. For more information, Slam entrants can contact Mark or just turn up on the night and take the chance there is space. On behalf of the team here at Mainland Television News, thank you for joining us, and we'll bring you the latest news and events from around the region again tomorrow.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.
This is a beautiful 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom home. It's large internal access double garage. It fits 2 cars nicely with a little workshop bench at the end of it. In this room we have 2 large lazy boys, a 3-seater and a 2-seater leather lounge suite, 50-inch Samsung TV and a heat pump. Features are a cathedral ceiling and of course that beautiful view.
For relatively little cost, you too can sell your house. Do it yourself. You're the best person to promote and sell your own house. Your personal endorsement is the best selling proposition. Put yourself on screen and sell it. You know the attractions of your house. You know it better than anybody else. So, get up there and tell us all about it. Sell it.
Upstairs we have 3 bedrooms. One of these has a full ensuite. That's the master bedroom with large bifold doors. Now out these bifold doors you get to a wraparound deck area that faces northwest, and this is lovely in the morning for sitting and having your coffee.
Hawk Films is now producing for you an advertising package and a broadcasting service at a price far lower than you would expect. We will produce your advertising video and feature it across TV, radio and electronic media. Your message will be up to 3 minutes long and it'll be broadcast 5 times a day on radio and TV. 5 times a day. And it will be listed online all day, every day, for exposure to your potential buyers. You can also use the ad and the photos to promote your house on radio, TV, Trade Me and other real estate sites. We can also offer drone aerial shots for a totally different viewpoint from the one you would normally see. Selling your house is up to you and your solicitor. We're here to merely add value to your advertising strategy. Give me a call and let's get your property on the market. Or better still, email or text me and I'll call you back.
Nelson Tire Center. Great prices, great service. Buy your own Bryford trailer. All types, all sizes. See Colin Douglas for your tires and batteries.